Photo! Back-to-back Gold Cups! Alvin Photo, the 8th multiple winner of the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Manila Indo is all out, flat out, but he wins the Gold Cup! Aplutard is storming up the hill, 6-7 lengths clear. Aplutard, a runaway winner!
It is the Blue Ribbon event. It is the Gold Cup. It is the pinnacle of national hunt racing, and it is an absolute corker. I was having a quick look before I started recording at the previous prices of some winners, because obviously Gallop in the Shop, as it stands, is 7-4 top price, and there's a chance that price could contract. You've got to go back to the likes of your Calto Stars that was 7-4 or 5-4. They did it, and then Bets Mate before that. So, like, we're talking full lens of the games. This horse has pretty much been given that status, and he didn't even win at Cheltenham last year, did he? He tipped up. It's a good race, because even behind that, there's a lot of depth within there. I do have a bit of an opinion in the race, but you guys would have gathered by now that I like to talk a little bit. So I'm going to hand it over to Daryl, because I know he's not even equally. He's probably more excited about the Gold Cup than I am this year. Looks an absolute stonker, don't it, DC? Give me your run through the main contenders. Let's get a few horses mentioned here.
Okay, so Galloping Deschamps heads the market, doesn't he? 7-year-old, gorgeous horse, done absolutely nothing right. Looks an absolute machine, doesn't he? But the one thing I just would say is that this looks like the best Gold Cup we have seen for a very, very long time. Like, this is normally when it comes to this race every single year, I'm sort of like lukewarm on it. It's like, I'm not, you know what I mean? This, I can't wait to see. This is literally the best of the best going up against each other. This is fantastic. He's got a like in any normal race, right? In any normal race, I'd look at this horse at the top of the market and think he's not even proven himself over fences over 3 miles. How can you not take him on? You have to take him on. Mm-hmm. But he just oozes class, doesn't he? He absolutely oozes class. On his seasonal return at Punchestown, he beat Fakir Alderis by 13 lengths. Like it was effortless for him. From about 5 out, he just got into a rhythm. Bang, bang, bang. And it was just so effortless, and he just cruised away. I'm not going to be back. I can't. Like, a race like this, I cannot back a short priced horse. You said his price might contract. I think it might go out to. I think you could be looking at 9-4, 2-1. In all honesty, I could be completely wrong there. To be fair, Le Homme Presse. Look, I didn't think Kempton suited him. I mean, I don't think going right-handed suited him. But I said this before the race at Kempton, and everybody fancied Le Homme Presse for the Kempton race. No one was mentioning his jumping out to the left at all. And now all of a sudden, straight after the race, they're like, "Oh, he jumps out to the left. He's going to be better on a left-handed track." You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, he's much shorter in the betting than Brave Man's Game is. I find that slightly strange, although he did finish very strongly in the RSA last year. I don't think there's too much between them two. I do think this track will probably suit Le Homme Presse a little bit better, but there's no reason why it won't suit Brave Man's Game. People keep saying he's a flat track horse. I think it's just circumstance that's led him to flat tracks. And I think he's mentally and physically a lot stronger this year. So I have no worries about the track or the trip. He showed something at Kempton what he hasn't showed before, which was he has that stamina. Before, it was a little bit suspect, wasn't it? Charlie Hall and stuff. It was a little bit suspect where you wanted him to find more off the bridle. He didn't. He did at Kempton. So he's got a great chance. Plutard's got a little bit to prove for us now, I think. I think you'd agree. Look, he was an emphatic winner of this race last year in a steadily run contest. This is going to be a completely different type of race. This is going to be run with stamina at the front of it. You're going to really need to stay to get this. It's going to be like an old native river style Gold Cup, you know, where it's going to be, you're going to grind it out. Protectorat, he's a lovely horse. He'll be well suited by this sort of trip, but I don't really like horses coming back to the race again. I kind of have like a rule where like you get one shot at it, and I know that hasn't worked in recent years, but I think a general consensus is you have one crack at the Gold Cup because it's such a grueling race, although it wasn't a grueling race for him last term. I think Statler's a horse I'm very interested in. I love the seasonal return, giving £8 to Manila Indo. I didn't think Tremor suited him whatsoever. That sort of tight track, I didn't think he was given the best of rides by Paul Town in there, to be honest. I thought with a horse that stayed 3 miles 6 last year, I thought you'd want to take up the running and go off the front end rather than sit behind Manila Indo. I didn't expect him to do that. I think he'll come on a ton for the run. You can give good mention to others, but the other one I just want to mention, a big price. And you're probably going to laugh at this because he's probably got absolutely no chance. He jumps like a bag of shite. But Franco de Port.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
This, I know, right? I know. Listen, right, but this horse, right? He's 66 to 1.
Oh my God!
He's
Yeah, but
just to quickly interrupt. 410 you can get on Betfair, so go and have a score on him there. Anyway, go on.
oh, do you know what? I would. He's only got one entry, and that's this, right?
Yeah.
This horse just is. He's just a thorough stayer. He just really, really needs a strong pace and a stiff finish. And the last 2 years in the Savills Chase, he's just been bloody held up in dawdling races where he's just not got the pace to aim at. And he's very sort of lightly raced in Britain and Ireland over extreme distances, and he's always shaped like he wanted a trip. I'm just saying, as an outsider chance. I mean, look, he's near enough the same price, or he's the same price as Angel's Breath, we ain't seen for 1,183 days. It wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility that Franco de Port can be coming home strongly in this, held up at the rear of the field in a really, really strongly run race. But for now, I am very much in the Statler camp. I like him quite a lot for this, so hopefully he can turn over his stablemate.
Lovely, nice little rendition there. I feel like I want to come in because you mentioned a few things in there which I quite like as well. So yeah, the reason why I touch on the exchanges so much is things like this, right? We talk about like tying up some money or just have a little bit of something. Like it's good, always good to have an opinion. But someone like this, like you get stupid price on the exchange because obviously it goes up to 1,000, doesn't it? And stuff like this, like it's worth taking a punt for a tenner in it or whatever you want to do, a fiver, like £2 at 400 to 1 in it. Like they're the ones that I do quite like. So take that before someone else does. I'll publish this one later in the week anyway. But Galopin Des Champs, you touched on it about maybe going out in price. He is 3.45 on the exchange or 3.4. So like he's bigger than 94 on there. It is the Gold Cup at the end of the day, isn't it? And he, like I said, the horses that have been that short before have been Calto Stars and Best Mates. He isn't that potentially yet. Le Homme Pressé, again, like the afterthought thing for running him in the King George was mental, wasn't it? Everyone's like, oh, there's a bit of rain. Oh, let's run him in there. Like they weren't even planning to run him in the bloody King George and he gets backed in. That's why, again, in hindsight, Brave Man's Game was top price 6 to 1 after, like in the spring, wasn't he? And he goes of 11 to 4 on the day when there was no Allaho in there. Like it's almost annoying. But that bundle behind, so you've got your Le Homme Pressé, you've got a Plutard. Noble Yates, I couldn't have, but we were like a bit of a fairy tale one, wouldn't he? Protectorat as well, I wouldn't particularly like. Brave Man's Game's in around the same price, so Statler. But that little band there behind Galopin Des Champs, it'd be interesting if you, like, I trying to look at some of those as like more, almost like match bet type scenarios. Like if I'm thinking to myself, so say for example, a Plutard and Protectorat are both 11 on the machine. If it was a Plutard and Protectorat and a match bet, I'd be back in a Plutard all day long. So then that starts to make me think, oh, maybe Protectorat's not so good a price. Then you see Noble Yates at 10.5 and Brave Man's Game at 10.5. I'd fancy Brave Man's Game to get beaten by Noble Yates in a test like Cheltenham is there, but I don't think Noble Yates will be going and winning it. Statler, when you get down to him at 13.5, I start to look at him and thinking, even if you take these short ones, like Statler will outstay Brave Man's Game, I think. Statler, I think, just a classier horse than Noble Yates. I know he's won a national, but I think he'd beat him. I think Statler will beat Protectorat. I think Statler could beat Plutard. I think Statler's a better horse than Le Homme Pressé. So he, like you said, the one you fall on. That's the reason I gave it a smile. I think Statler is the bet to have at this point for the Gold Cup. Like he may not go and win it, but like, it's just because Galopin Des Champs in there. I think Statler's a big price. He's 10 to 1, I think, non-run and no bet with Bet365. Not that he's going to go anywhere else. He will be coming here. And like you said, that Tremor run, I was fairly impressed with it. He could have gone to the Savills Chase, couldn't he? But it was his first run in open company. I know Manella Indo hadn't won for ages before then, and people poo-pooed Paul Townend's right because he could have got it in front or whatever. But I wonder whether they stuck him to Tremor because they were like, let's not push him in the deep end to begin with. And to do what he did, to get that close to a former Gold Cup winner, giving him the weight away, I was well impressed with him. So he's only going to come on for that. I think he is the bet, and I cannot see Statler outside the frame, to be honest with you. So he would be my idea of the bet. I couldn't be getting stuck into Galopin Des Champs at a short price. He's one of those that you might end up, because it's the Friday, do a few little shorty roll-ups and stuff. You might have a few quid going on him, but I wouldn't be sticking like 400 or 500 quid on him at the price that he is, like a 7 to 4 poke. So that's the way that I see it. I'm with you, Darryl. I quite like Statler. So that's boring, isn't it? Jamie, you've probably got a different opinion. What do you make of the Gold Cup? It is a decent race this year, isn't
it? Yes, it is, Dave. Ditto what you're saying. He is the best horse, Galopin Des Champs. Does he stay the extra 3, 2.5? Hopefully, we'll see a bit of the 3 mile in. He's no problem saying 3 miles. He's won over 3 miles at Punchestown. He uses class. He really does. He's a really good horse. After that, Lampress, definitely it was an afterthought running to Kempton. Rain. Definitely going to be suited by Cheltenham. If it's soft on the day, I will be all over Lampress. Yes, I will be all over him in a heartbeat. If any bit, like, look at Native Rivers Gold Cup, as Daryl said, end-to-end gallop, soft ground, has to have a right chance, and it'll be up there in the bandwagon. I agree with the Plutar's angle. That was a crawl last year. Sprinted up the hill, had the 2 mile pace of being beating Chacon Persuade, God knows, back in there, Leopardstown there years ago. A 2 miler winning like a sizing John, 2 miles going up to 3.5, 3.25. Can't have Brave again. That I was disappointed like there. He should have had an entry in the Ryanair and would have a right chance in the Ryanair. I can't have him for a Gold Cup. Protectorate doesn't stay. Look at the Dahl who went last year. To me, it doesn't stay. Has improved. There's no question of that. Doesn't stay, in my opinion. Noble Yates, that was just a crap race the last day in the entry. Look, turn of foot, it was grand at the end. And then I'm with you, 100%. My horse for the Gold Cup all year has been Statler. Great run the last day, giving £8 to the crap ride by Townend. But look, he was just like, first run of the season. And to be honest with you, when it comes to the Dublin Racing Festival, will it be Gallopin de Champs? Probably not. But the Gold Cup, we know he stays. And he's definitely the bet at the moment at 13.5 in Betfair, 10-1 top price. He's definitely the bet for me in a Saturday in the Gold Cup.
Well, that was boring, wasn't it? Everyone's watched these videos all week just to get the same thing. But I do think it's good, though, because it's a very opinionated race. And I think you can make cases for lots of these horses. And obviously, you have to try and be a little bit blunt to get to the end result with, didn't you? But like, I genuinely think, like, if you took Gallopin de Champs out of the race, obviously that's an easy thing to say, but you take him out of the race, it does get competitive in behind. And like I said, there's much of a muchness with those group of 5 or 6 or behind. But if you took Gallopin de Champs out of the race, Statler would probably still be priced at like 5 or 6 to 1. And if it was that way around, we'd start be saying he should be, maybe not should be favoured, but he should be shorter. I like Statler. I think he's got a squeak. So let us know down below in the comments what you fancy the Gold Cup. It is the Blue Ribbon event. It is one of the hardest races to get right. I've got a terrible track record, so I apologise if you do fancy Statler, to Jamie and to Daryl. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then we're going to do a nice little wrap-up now with some of our strongest bets again, and we'll be talking about a few handicap horses that we've got our eyes on. We'll cover a couple of races that we haven't recorded, so Mares Chase Bumper will be in there so Jamie can get his wind out, and then that'll be it. Merry Christmas. Goodbye to you all.